Sylas Runewulf spent most of the day on his farm, preparing for another crop of corn. As he worked, Patches the pubcat watched from the farmhouse's porch, while Cornbread the farm dog patrolled the fields, pausing randomly to sniff at things and bark at other dogs in the seedlands. "Enough!" Sylas told the dog, after she had barked for what seemed like an hour. She came running to him, her tail wagging hard enough to shake her whole body. "Just give me a little time." He reached down to scratch behind Cornbread's ears. "It shouldn't be much longer now, girl." Sylas needed to clear his mind. He hadn't planned to jump right into things upon returning from the chasm, yet with everything that Nuno the Manaseer had revealed, the last thing Sylas wanted to do was wait around. Nuno's words came to Sylas as he worked through mana infusion.
"The celestial planes have spoken, and our reply will be shaped by how we interpret the invasion message. It will become our legend, forge our legacy, and if we're unlucky, herald our demise. I know this isn't the message any of us wanted to hear, but now that we understand what is happening, we can act."
The Underworld, the place that Sylas had grown to love in a relatively short amount of time, had just 38 days before the Hex Veil came down and the Underworld merged with the chasm. This had been Heaven's mandate, the celestial planes ordering the demise of Sylas's newfound home, at least in the way Nuno had interpreted it. Gone would be the Hex Veil, the protective barrier keeping hell itself from boiling over, and Sylas's world would be plunged into depths of darkness never thought possible, as demons charged forth into the villages, towns, and cities of the Underworld. Even worse, with its proximity to the Hex Veil, Ember Hollow would be one of the first settlements to be invaded. Towns like Cinder Peak would follow, taking with it the Seedlands and all of its farms. Duro, where Sylas got fireberries, would fall, as would all the smaller places, each with their own story to tell. Sylas didn't know what would happen to larger underworld cities like Battersea, but he suspected all would suffer, especially as the Hex Veil came down on all sides. After all, the Underworld existed within the chasm, the space carved out by the celestial planes to be a destination for those who didn't deserve to go to heaven, but had somehow skipped out on instantly being deposited in hell. Yet now, that was set to change. The planes had spoken, and through the message Sylas got every morning, an invasion was imminent. It would seem like this invasion came from the collapse of the Hex Veil. But Sylas and a few others would know the truth. If an invasion happened, it might come from the chasm, but it would be orchestrated by the celestial planes. There were ways to send a message to the celestial planes, but according to a local farmer named Trampus, it took tens of thousands of mana lumens to do so. While Sylas could net quite a bit with his farm and pub, he didn't know how much the actual cost would be, nor did he think he had enough time to afford it, because of a rule by which things became pricier after a person had more than 20,000 mana lumens. And later, he reminded himself as mana infusion took place, his fields with a golden glow to them, I'll have the market too. The Ember Hollow market seemed to be the last thing on Sylas's mind, but it was the first thing on Mira's, the apothecary who had gone in on the purchase with him. She had spoken excitedly about it earlier over breakfast. "If you're working on the farm, I'll be working on the market. As soon as we can get it set up for vendors, we can start renting out booths, and you can sell more ale there, double the brewing if that's fine. This will create another channel of passive MLU income, but, and I hate to say it like this, we don't have much time." "No, we do not," Sylas said to himself, as he continued his work on the farm. "No, we do not."